Hi, Kurt. Nice to talk to you again. I talked to you in the summer about Evil, so it's great to touch base.
Okay, that's why you look familiar.
Biggest compliment ever. So,
Oh,
how are you? So, obviously, Jeff is a bit different than Dr. Bond. What attracted you to this role?
good observation, by the way. Uh, yeah, he is. I'm in the middle of a cold, so I'm going to cough. Excuse me. Well, what attracted me? I was a fan of the original Night Court, and I'm a fan of comedy. I'm a fan of reading something and it makes me laugh. And I'm a huge fan of John Larroquette and Melissa Rauch, and have always wanted to work with John because we're both actors of a certain age and we go way back and we acted near each other but never with each other. And so it was like a slam dunk for me to do, and I was very happy to do it, and I had a great time.
Yes. So you've done movies before, you've been series regular in several series. What still attracts you to guest star or kind of dipping into a show like this one? You told me that you wanted to work with the other people. But what's in general still keeps you open to being a guest star?
Well, if well, that's a really good question. If something I like to act, okay,
Mhm.
I'm after I finish Evil in at the end of April, I'm going to do a play. I'm going to do a play in Connecticut for nothing, for no money, because I like it and I like to act. And so if I read something that I like and there's somebody in it that attracts me, I'm grateful that I don't have to work, but I'm happy that I get to do things that I want to do. And that was where this came. I liked the people and it made me laugh. And so I did it. And I'm glad I did.
That sounds like a beautiful position to be in. Night,
Yeah.
yeah. Night Court, you said you were a fan of the original, and
Yes.
even this revival of it, this continuation of the story in a sense, is very much kind of like the sitcom comedy that you don't see very often on TV anymore. Were you a fan of that style? And do you approach that type of comedy different than other types of comedy or drama?
Um, Boy, the answer to everything is yes and no. Every one of the parts of that question. Um, I'm I'm a fan of anything I'm a fan of any comedy that's funny. Okay. I'm not a fan of that 80s sitcom style so much, but I am a fan of, sort of exaggerated characters who want real things and sort of, kind of big jokes that take a chance and actors taking chances and um, big swings. And this show takes big swings. And I like that. I like that. And I think that if you don't yell, don't bug your eyes, and don't try and make goofy faces, and just play it a little bit more with a little bit more energy, it can be unlike anything else. And that's what I like about these in front of an audience shows, or four camera shows, as we say. And I thought this show did it well, and I think we did it well. And they will only get better and better as time goes on, as they get more used to what's happening. Because a show in its first year, you look at, you know, I don't care how popular they were. You go back and look at shows in their first year compared to the rest, they grow, they change. And this show, I think, is having a very good first year, but I think it's only going to get better. And
Yeah.
I hope I get to do it again, because I'd like to sort of, there's a few things I wish I had done differently that I would like to try.
Yes. Speaking of
So
your
that's my answer.
Yeah. I feel like your character, I've only seen one episode with him in it, but he has a lot of room to grow because he's looking for reelection. And to me, he's a bit of a foil to like the optimism that Abby has.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
even when she looks at New York. Is that something you noticed and you wanted to kind of play with while in your 2 episodes and in future episodes?
Yeah, absolutely. And I also wanted to be a foil and sort of an obstacle for Dan Fielding's character, Dan Fielding, because he thinks he's so great. Well, you know, I'm pretty great too, and I like that. And when I see Abby being optimistic and pleasant and everything, to me, I'm like a vulture looking at a little pigeon, and she's somebody that I can manipulate. Excuse me. She's somebody that I can manipulate, and that's good because then I can get what I want. Because that's all I want is what I want.
Yes.
That's my whole goal.
And ironically, and I guess we could say this about a lot of people in politics, he wants to be elected into this public office.
Yes,
But he doesn't want to be a public servant. Like he's
I want to be mayor, then governor, then president. That's what I want.
yes. And
This
what's
is just a stepping stone.
yes. What's interesting about the show is, and kind of the style of sitcoms is it's satirical, but also very true. Like she's talking about over prosecution,
Right.
and his kind of not very liberal, not very public serving point of view. And she's the exact opposite. Was that kind of a message that you also wanted to send, but kind of in the villain way of kind of the problems within the justice system?
Well, yeah. I mean, what one thing that attracted me about this show, and one thing I think brings it into the 21st century, is that its first job is to make people laugh, but it also there's truth behind the humor, and there's certain things you might realize. It's not teaching a lesson. It's not like the old Cosby Show where everybody learned a life lesson at the end. But there are things going on in the world that it can address and still be funny, and just give it more texture, and make it a more interesting and enriching experience to watch. There's nothing wrong with watching a half-hour comedy and thinking a little bit about it afterwards.
Yeah, especially when we see like the literal boys club when they're
Yeah,
having
right.
their
I love
meal.
that club. Oh man, I love that. I really did.
Yeah, and I also love that, as you were saying, like there's a message, but it's not like at the end where like all the cast comes together and like,
Right.
oh, for more
No.
information, it was just this one episode, which is of course very interesting. But what would you love to see next with your character, if you continue to be on the show? We kind of just got a glimpse of he's looking for re-election, but he also
Hmm.
could manipulate Olivia because she's kind of looking for a mentor by any means necessary. Like, what would
Yes.
you love to see?
Well, I really think that he could really use Olivia as a pawn to get rid of Abby, because Abby doesn't want to convict anybody.
Mhm.
She wants to let everybody go. Well, we can't have that. There's a lot of crime in the city.
Mhm.
So, you know, uh, I've really got to take Abby down. If I can take Abby down, okay, and get my own person in there, we can start locking up some people, and I can say the crime figures are going down. Hey, next thing you know, I'm mayor. I'm mayor because I tackled crime in the city. And then then I'm governor, and then I'm president. It's a perfect plan. But I got to get rid of these losers. So that's what I think is my goal.
It's
My
so
God, I just penciled out an entire season for these people, and I'm not going to get paid a cent. Watch, I won't get paid a cent.
it makes so much sense, and even though they're
It does.
two completely different shows, two completely different studios and you approach every character differently. I feel like there's like a thread line between this New York City show and Evil and just like a
Yes, I
accidental
know.
crossover for
Oh
sure.
my God. I don't see a crossover, but it could happen. That would be a tough one. That would be a long trip.
Sure. But thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. It was
Oh,
excellent
thank you.
talking
It's
to you
so.
again. And this is just another conversation of many that we have. And I hope you feel better as well.
Oh, thank you. I'm actually feeling better. This is me feeling better. Believe
Oh,
me. I couldn't do this a couple days ago.
oh well, I hope it's even better in the next couple weeks. And
Thank
I
you.
will talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks. Good seeing you again.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank
Bye.
you.